Hi,
Hey, Caitlin,
Sasha.
how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Doing well, just cruising. Dope LED lights. I need to get some.
Thank you.
I had some. Wait, let me fix this. Sorry. Uh, okay. Okay, here we go. I had some in my old room, but since I moved rooms and I haven't been able to. I just haven't got any more. But I need to get some. That's a good reminder. Yeah, how's your day been so far, Caitlin?
It's been okay. I had school today, so there's that.
Yeah, I know. It's like school, but yeah,
So
I'm so happy to be doing this. I'm stoked we made it happen.
I'm really happy that we made this happen. It all worked out in the end.
Heck yeah.
So before we jump into our discussion, I have a game prepared.
I'm ready for it. Throw it at
So
me.
I'm gonna give you a color, and you're gonna give me the first song that comes to your mind that you associate with that color.
Okay.
So the first last color is green.
Ooh. Um. Uh. Flower Power by Greta Van Fleet or Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden.
Greta Van Fleet is top tier
I
music.
love them. I love them so much. Oh my god, they're the coolest. They're so cool.
I've been listening. Okay, so I've been listening to their choreograph. I don't know how to pronounce.
Just
I'm
discography or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. Don't even worry about
So
it.
my whole recently played in my Spotify history is just all Greta Van Fleet
They're
from the
awesome.
past 48 hours.
Heck yeah. That's the way to do it. That's like my music listening schedule. You know, they're awesome.
So to start us off, we're going to talk about the great hair debate that this fandom has created.
Yes. The
So
great
you
hair
recently
debate.
posted on your story.
My armpit, I'd be like, why? Like, get out, you know? So it was good. You know, I cut it off and I feel lighter for sure.
Yeah.
Like I was like skipping out of the salon after I got it cut. Yeah, it's good. It's just good to change it up and switch it up a little bit. Yeah, I told so many people I got a buzz cut. They were like, what? Send a picture. And I was like, no, I'm not going to send you a picture. It's going to be a secret. But this is the reveal right here. So it's good.
It's the great great hair debate review.
Great hair debate.
Okay, so your journey to music. Forever Young Fever was released August 10th, 2019. Dangerous Woman is your most streamed song with 4,496 streams. It keeps going up every time I check. Um, what was your inspiration for that album?
those were some of the first songs I ever wrote actually, and that was my first time recording any music of mine, and it was kind of an experiment. I was 15 at the time, and 15 and 14 when I wrote those songs, and just a goal of mine was to be able to get something recorded and just kind of get that experience. And I'm so thankful. Like my parents, um, they helped make that happen for me. And yeah, I got to record with some really professional people and who were a lot older than me as for like the drums and the bass uh, and so that was really special. And I'm really grateful that I have really good friends like that who are willing to help out a 15-year-old make kind of a dream happen, and get
Yeah.
an idea of what the process would like. It was just a huge learning experience and super positive as well. It's really cool seeing that people have checked it out since it came out and yeah, as far as like Dangerous Woman, that song came straight from the mind of a 15-year-old. I I think home means a lot to me, and Lady Liberty too. I actually want to. A goal of mine is to maybe rework Lady Liberty now that I'm older a little bit, and kind of give it like an older spin on it because I feel like since then, um, what's cool about that project in particular is I feel like since I did it 3 years ago. I mean, like time's flying. Uh, that I feel like I've grown as a musician, as a songwriter a lot. So I think that at some point it'd be fun for me to go back and revisit some of those songs. But I think home means a lot to me, and the same with Lady Liberty. I think that it is very.
Revisit some of the songs. So, if you were to rewrite that or like revisit that album now, what would you do differently, like creating it?
I just think. I think now that I've been playing guitar longer, I think I have different ideas for what I would do for some of the layering and also singing too. I would maybe make some adjustments. Definitely I think since then my voice has matured a little bit too.
Yeah.
That I was still going through the like voice crack thing at that time. So there's a couple little squeaks and cracks. So I think that now that I'm older too, it's fun because my voice is matured just a little bit. And then yeah, just fiddling with instrumentation and getting exploring sonically. Now that my obsession has grown and grown and grown with music and instruments and all that, I think it'd be really fun for me to play around with it now that
Yeah.
I am getting older and have kind of more ideas. So
It, do you plan on releasing any of your other originals that you have stowed away?
definitely, oh yeah, at some point for sure. I need to make a plan though. I've just been recently it's been really nice. I've been writing a lot and just even since Of course, there was a lot of songs that I had written while I was recording that, uh, but yeah, those were like kind of what I stuck to as like my first kind of batch.
How old were you when you wrote those songs?
14 and 15.
So it was
Yeah.
all within the same like time span.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And from I can tell my writing's a little different now as far as like phrasing and the length of certain things. It's kind of funny. It's like looking back on like an old picture or something where
Chord. Um, who are some people that inspire your like sound when you're writing music?
you know it kind of depends. Like I have a my music taste is all over the place, and it really depends on who I'm listening to at the time. Like if I'm going it through a full like Zeppelin phase, which happens, you know, I'll like I still go through phases of these things where I'm like only listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin or a lot of like Motley Crue or whatever. But it just kind of depends. Like a lot of Stevie Wonder. Whatever I'm listening to, it's kind of a reflection. I have so many heroes and inspirations that it's hard for me to pinpoint one.
Time.
So much grunge, like so much grunge. I was listening to Nirvana and Pearl Jam, like and Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, that I Oasis too. I was just kind of getting into Oasis at that time, but I was you know I'm a huge Nirvana fan, and at the time I was really into that realm. Yeah,
Um, and what advice would you give to someone who wants to start releasing their own music?
I don't even have a whole lot of experience at releasing music, to be honest with you. I'm like just getting going too.
That's
I
also
would
true.
say I would say just do it. You know, just music is too. I really think both. It was funny. I was like 2 days ago, someone asked us, they're like, if you had to choose, which one? I think in the last year, I think the last like 2 years, I've really, just because of COVID too, the acting industry really slowed down,
Yeah.
and it was really, yeah, it was just really slow. So I spent a lot of time playing music, and that's when a lot of, that's when the show came out, and that's when Julie and the Phantoms came out in 2020. So I think a lot of people that follow me really, and I definitely am. I definitely am a musician, and I love music, and I want to pursue that. I think people look at me more of a musician as an actor, but I really love acting, and I want to do both. Um, and I'm gonna do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, both have my heart. So I'm gonna keep doing both at the same time and pursuing that. So
Let's say that you had to pick one to stick with.
no, I can't. I can't. I literally can't. It's like it's one of those things. It's like if a parent had to choose between like their kids, or like you have to choose between your like I seriously love both so much, and no one's telling me I can't do both.
Yeah.
So I and all as long as I can handle it with my schedule, which I can, I'll make time for something like music or some
Yeah.
or acting, whatever it is. So
If you're passionate about it, you're gonna find time to do it.
totally, totally.
Dance. You are talented in like literally everything you do, and dance is where that started.
Yeah,
Would
but
you
I
be
need
able
to
to tell us
go
a bit about your dance?
take class right now. That's what I really need to do, because yeah, I grew up dancing. Dancing is how I got my start, and how I found the stage, and I really fell in love with the idea of like entertainment and performing through dance. And I love dancing so much. And to this day, I don't train as much as I used to. I'm always dancing in my kitchen, you know. So that's like the stage in my mind every single freaking time I walk in there. But um, but yeah, I grew up doing ballet and jazz and tap, and a little bit of hip hop too when I could, and um, I love it. And I'm so happy I had my start in that. I think it's really um, having a dance background really helped me a lot when I got into theater and I started acting in theater. The live aspect of it is so key, and it's still something like uh, growing up in rehearsal. Inspiring me, and being there for me as a dancer growing up, and all that. Yeah, but I really need to go take class. Oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've trained and been in class,
Yeah.
and so I'm really excited. That was a New Year's resolution for me, just to go back and take classes, and try to shake the rust off a little bit. So
I feel like since like COVID happened, like everyone's like been like pulled back just a little bit with things that they're like passionate about.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. COVID was a curveball, I think, like for everyone and everything. So um, hopefully, this year we can um, but yeah, that's not as significant as the Carnegie Hall. That's crazy.
Musical theater. You played young Tarzan in the musical when you were 9. How was that experience for you? And do you think having musical theater experience helped made your Julie and the Phantoms audition a lot easier?
Oh yeah, no, musical theater. If you're an actor, I think starting in musical theater is like one of the most important ways to create a foundation. I think it's really important because if you can do a 3 hour play with moving props, costume changes, singing, dancing, and acting, you can do a 2 page scene. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, for an audition. You know what I mean. I mean, of course, it's different technically wise as an actor. Um, there's some differences in both are different environments and experiences. But man, if you can do theater, growing up, uh, when you're or not even growing up, but when you're starting acting, it's gold. And I think that I did play young Tarzan. That was my first role. It was great. I wore like a brown Speedo on stage and fake dreads and rolled in the dirt a little bit and went up on stage and sang a couple songs and danced and acted. And it was great. Yeah. And I was off from there, right?
Did you do any other musical theater roles like growing up besides Tarzan?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I did Tarzan, I was 9. And then when I was 9, still, I did The Sound of Music and through Slow Little Theater, which is now Slow Rep. Um, and is it Slow Rep? I think it's Slow Rep. I'm not sure. Can't remember. But yeah, so I did Sound of Music and I played Kurt, the middle child. So that was super fun. Um, and then when I turned 10, I did Mary Poppins, and I was Michael Banks and Mary Poppins at PCPA in Santa Maria, and that was amazing. That was my first. That was a very, um, that was a very pivotal experience for me because that it was that show for Mary Poppins. I think there was like 48 shows in total, and we had to double cast it because we were super
Yeah.
young. I mean, I was 9, and then. Uh, one of my best friends, Marissa Dinsmore, who's an actress as well, she played Jane, and she was, I think, like 11 or something. Like, we were young,
Yeah.
and so they double cast us, and so there was 2 Michaels and 2 Janes, and that was my first experience being a part of a production with, like a full-on crew, um, and extensive amount of shows, and yeah, it was great, amazing experience. So yeah, I was really lucky to do those. Yeah.
I feel like double casting, like when you have like a younger people on the cast is like super important because if they're playing all 48 shows, you're gonna have some rough times with that
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah. No, yeah, they had to. It was because 48 shows, it's like, you know, that's a lot. That's a lot
yeah.
of shows, you
Was it
know.
like one show like every day or was it like 2 shows?
I can't remember. I think what they had us do was um I can't remember. I can't remember how long we ran that for. It was I remember we were doing shows for like, oh man, I want to say like a month and a half, 2 months maybe. And I can't remember the exact schedule. I'm sure I have um like a call sheet
Yeah.
from it somewhere in like the dark depths of like some bin that I have under my bed or something like that. But yeah, double casting is important when you're young. It
Mhm.
just makes it easier.
I feel like even if it's not like a theater production with like super young cast people, it's also still important to double cast
Hmm.
for literally everything.
Yeah, yeah. It just makes just more efficient in some circumstances for sure.
Because my freshman year, I did Adam's Family at my school,
Hmm.
and I was in the ensemble, and I had to dress up as a dead nun, and they made us paint
Whoa,
all like all the ensemble members had to paint like with body paint. All had to paint ourselves white, and
you were a
that
dead
paint,
you were You were a dead known? That's
Yeah, I
not,
was a
that's
dead note.
not
I
many
have
people can
pictures
say that.
somewhere, and it's really funny, but the paint was just like so hard to get off.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
So from
that's a good story.
all the theater productions that you've done, do you have a favorite?
Um, I'd say Mary Poppins. That one was really special. It just was uh that one was great. I still know a lot of people from that. And I got to do it with one of my best friends, Marissa Dinsmore. So that was a great show. Yeah, it was really really fun.
Do you think you'd jump back into musical theater?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it for sure. I think at some point, as of right now, my focus is mainly on television and film. But you know, at some point, I mean, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think it'd be really cool and a great learning experience to dive back into theater for sure. Yeah.
Um, do you consider yourself a musical theater nerd?
You know what? I don't. But here's why. I love musical theater and I love doing it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. That's the thing. Because I'm a music nerd, like 100%, like
Yeah.
guitar nerd, whatever. But um, but musical theater, I see. That's the thing. I'm the same thing with like even TV and movies. I don't watch a whole lot of TV or movies. I mean, I do as much as I can, but the same thing is with plays. Is like I haven't seen a whole lot of plays. I guess I just didn't like not growing up in a kind of a big city where there's a huge theater. Um, Sort of scene, I
Yeah.
guess, had something to do with that. But, you know, it's never too late to become a theater nerd. So next time you talk to me, I might be, you know, I may be singing Hades Town back to front. You never know, right?
Have you watched Hamilton?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it in person, but I saw a a live tape of it, and it's amazing. Yeah,
That's probably one of my favorite musicals.
that's amazing. Yeah, who who can? I don't think I've heard anyone say, Hamilton. You know what I mean?
I
I
know
don't
a
think
lot
anyone
of
can say.
people.
I think it's universally like just a favorite for everyone. I think yeah, that it's gold. It's pure gold for sure.
After they put it on Disney Plus, I may or may not have watched it 25 times.
25. That is respect. See, I need to get on that level of commitment to these things, right?
Guitar and piano. Um, what was the first chord that you learned?
I have no clue. I have no clue. I think for piano, the thing with piano, my piano endeavors were really short lived. I remember I took lessons from when I was like 7 to 9, I want to say. But you see, the thing was, is my teacher wanted me to play um, songs like out of our book, and all I
Yeah.
wanted to play was I wanted to play my songs that like I wanted to play the songs that I wanted to sing and I wanted to listen to, and I was listening to on the radio. So I was like, what am I doing? I don't want to learn these songs like you know, I don't want to learn hot cross buns in a more like complicated way. Like, dude, I want to show me how to play, you know, "Baby" by Justin Bieber. You know, I mean that's just an example. But you know what I mean. So that's actually
Yeah.
why I switched over to guitar. When I started playing guitar when I was, uh, I think, uh, I think I picked up a guitar for the first time when I was 11, and then
Hmm.
when I was 12 I started like taking lessons and really getting into it. um, but the reason why I quit piano is because I um, I couldn't play the songs that I wanted to, and it
Hmm.
just wasn't I wasn't inspired by it, you know. So it was short lived. But
Yeah, I feel the same way because like I used to play piano and take like lessons, and all we did was like we did like learn songs from the book, and then
right,
once you like got done through all of those like red, yellow books, you move
right,
on
yeah,
to
yeah,
like
there were like colors. I was on like the first one, like over, like oh my gosh, yeah,
and so like I was just like this is not for me. Like all the songs I like they're all guitar based and none of them are piano based, so I stuck with guitar.
yeah. Guitar's great. It's awesome.
At what age did you decide like, hey, this is like guitar is pretty cool. Like I'm gonna stick with this and like keep working at it?
There wasn't like a specific age. I just fell down the rabbit hole as soon as I picked it up. I was like, there was no question of me being like, I might put it down or should I continue with this? It's always just been like, just full on a steam engine going ahead, and yeah, I've never questioned putting it down or anything. I love it. I love it too much. It's like, just it's such a big part of my life now. So yeah,
How often do you practice playing your guitar during the day?
just as much as I can. Sometimes that means like an hour or but even before I had literally 5 minutes. I sat down here before this call and I was just noodling on my guitar. So any like filling time that I have, I just pick it up and I play as much as I can. But yeah, it just varies. Depends how much free time I have.
Do you have any advice for people out there who want to dive into musical instruments or are already playing?
Um, yeah. If you're starting out on an instrument, just um, give it time. Don't it. Of course, it's like it takes time to, uh, like with guitar, your fingers hurt at first. You're like trying to stretch all these chords. You're like, why can't I do this? It's like, and it feels like your fingers are in the weirdest positions ever. It's like so uncomfortable, but it gets better, and it gets easier. And then when things become easier and your discoveries happen, it becomes even more fun. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you're like, okay, now I can do these three chords in a row easily. Well, let's add another chord, and then that's where the inspiration comes in, because you find something that you didn't know, and all of a sudden, a spark's been lit uh, that you found, and then you create something. It's just like um, yeah, just stick with it, but make sure you want to play guitar. Um, Make sure your heart's into it. Don't try to do something just to do it. Make sure you believe in what you're doing, and make sure you play the things you want to play. Yeah.
Um, so you're an actor and you're still in high school.
Mhm.
How do you manage school with acting?
Yeah. So I went to public school up until left public school when I did, just because now I have so much more freedom and so much more flexibility to pursue these things I want to pursue, like music and acting and all of it. So yeah, it is hard to juggle though sometimes, for sure. I remember like 2 weeks ago I was reading like three scripts, and then I had started school. I had just started like my college courses, which is a lot, and it takes a lot in the first week to kind of get adjusted to it. And I was late on some stuff, and there's definitely a lot of factors, but you
Yeah.
make it work. So
When you started doing Julie and the Phantoms, like how do you manage, like you left public school. How was that like managing doing like your schoolwork and like filming?
yeah, so on set they have, when you're a minor, they have me and Carol. But yeah, so while you're filming, what they'll do is they'll be like, okay, Sasha, we don't need you right now. Go to school, and then you do school for like maybe an hour and a half, right? And then they're like, hey, Sasha, we need you for the scene, and they pull me from school. I go do the scene, do that, whatever. I go back to school, and then I do that for maybe another however much time I can get, and then they're like, okay, it's lunchtime, go to lunch. And then after lunch, it's like whether I'm doing a scene or filming, it's just based around you filming, but you have to get a certain number of hours, and there's set teachers that help you out, and yeah, it's a great system for sure.
So it's not like super like unorganized to the point where like you're like struggling to juggle the two.
No, yeah, no, you have to get a certain number of hours, and your teachers. What's great about it is you have basically your private teacher who can help you out with everything that you need, which
Once you're done with high school.
I'm probably just I'll continue my education. I'll just doing online classes and do what I can. I really value my education, and I love school too. Learning's awesome. And yeah. So I want to keep juggling the two, but my priority, of course, is to try to go to work and try to act and do all that. And so if I were to get a job, then school will take a break, and I'll go do the job, and then I'll come home and pick up where I left off. And yeah.
Since you value education so much, what's your favorite subject?
English. I like writing. But the thing is, um, I'm in an econ class right now too, and it's really interesting. I really, it's nice. Finance is fun too. It's just I'm very much interested in the things that I can apply to my world, like geometry. I was like, I'm probably not going to use this. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But something like financial literacy, it's like, okay, well, I'm learning something that I'm going to apply and use in life. Um, so that, that's really cool. So yeah, just classes that are. And they will, yeah, you'll do the scene for them, you memorize it and all that, and then you go home after you do the scene, and then you wait and hear if you get a call back, and most of the time you don't get a call back. So that's just how it goes, but that's also a part of it. There's that's the thing about auditioning, and if you're getting into acting, be prepared for a lot of rejection. That's just something that comes with the business, and some people, they can manage it, and other people, it's just not for them. So one thing's for sure is you'll get rejected a lot more than you get told yes. um, but yeah, it's also, I love auditioning though. Auditioning's really fun. It's like the role of Nick, I had already met Kenny multiple times, spent a lot of time with, you know, and been in front of Dan, Dave, Kenny, and kind of the whole Paul, like all these guys who are the production side of it, and you know, the producers, writers, whatnot. And it was great because when by the time they called me back for Nick, it's like they already knew me. So I was walking into the room, and you know, I Kenny's environment, he makes is super just friendly and super chill, and everyone in the room, I just kind of, I was just really relaxed, and it was a fun audition. Like I had met Maddie, which made like I was very relaxed and loose for it. So it was great. Yeah.
Listening to some of your previous interviews, you said that when you had went in for your callback for Nick, the song you had arranged, the person right before you went in and had the same song.
So that actually happened for Luke. So what happened was, so that was when I went out for Luke. So what happened was, yeah, that's crazy. So I got a call back for the role of Luke, right? They were like, bring your guitar, you're going to play us some songs. We want to hear you sing and, you know, whatever. So I had, at the time, a lot of originals I'd been working on. And then I had this like one cover song. It was kind of my go-to for, as, kind of like it was just like my go-to audition song.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting in the waiting room, and Kenny's in there, right? So it's Kenny, it's Dan and Dave. I'm in front of everybody, all the producers, all the writers, casting, director, all of it. So obviously there's like, you know, in your head, you're like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm going to make sure I do it to the best of the ability I can. And I'm going to make sure that, I'm just going to do my job and do it the best that I can. And I hope that they like me, you know? And so I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I had prepared Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by Cage the Elephant. That was like a go-to audition song of mine. And then I'm sitting in the waiting room next to my dad, and I'm hearing, now I was walking down the street at the corner of my eye. And I was like, I looked at my dad, and I was like, are you kidding me? And he was like, no way. And so, like, of course, the guy before me. But so then I was like, I had other originals I had played at the time, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go play an original. I don't know. I'm just going to go in and see what happens. And so I ended up actually playing In a Rest for the Wicked for them again. But I made a joke out of it. I was like, yeah. So I was, the guy before me is saying the exact same song I prepared. So, you know, and I made a little joke out of it, and we all laughed about it. It was pretty funny. And then I sang that song and with my own flair on it, and then I sang some originals. So, and that was that.
Do you think if you had gotten the Luke role versus the Nick role, would you rather have taken the Luke role, or would you have stuck with Nick?
Nick is very, no, see, because that's I've been asked that question, like, do you regret like not being able to like be Luke or anything? But no, it's like these things are meant to be. You know what I mean? And there's no other person in the world that could play Luke other than Charlie. There really isn't. Charlie is Luke, you know. And for me, it's like when I picked up the script for Nick, I was like, this feels better. Like this feels a lot. This just feels kind of right, you know. And the chemistry between all of us actors, it was like the dynamics had settled into place in the right way. You know what I mean? So I would never like. I don't regret anything. I'm so happy I was able to play Nick, and he was able to go off and do a lot of different things that, you know, originally, you know, Nick wasn't really, at the very beginning, Nick wasn't a very prominent character in the script. I don't think, at least. I remember reading when I went out for Luke. I remember it was like Nick, and I think it was supposed to be like a really kind of like a passing role that was kind of in and out, but. Kenny and Dan and Dave, you know, when we hit it off at the audition for Luke, they really added a lot of stuff in for my character of Nick, and made it more me, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy. Yeah.
You mentioned that you did a Christmas Story live. How old were you when you did that, and like, what was that like?
Yeah, I was 14. Oh my gosh, one of the best experiences of my life, along with Julie and the Phantoms. I mean, a huge learning experience. Met so many amazing people. I'm really tight with all those, with all my castmates. It was wild being on set with like my heroes. You know, like Matthew Broderick, Ken Jeong, Fred Armisen, David Allen Greer, all these like Jane Krakowski. Um, you know, the guys from Pretty Much came out. Like all of these amazing actors, and then I'm just like this kid, this little 14-year-old kid, and we're all like, I just knocked over a fan. We're all like, I was one of the second oldest. You know, everyone was younger than us. Like I think the youngest was 9, or no 7. It was 7. So we're just a bunch of kids having fun on a set with like our idols, and so and being able to film that on the Warner Brothers lot was something sweet. And I don't really know how we pulled it off, to be honest with you. It's crazy. Those live, like Fox does an absolutely incredible job with their live shows. There's so much going on. It's crazy. Like I wish everyone watching could see what's happening behind the camera, because it's like, oh, like it is crazy. Um, yeah, it's wild. Such an amazing time. Yeah.
The Warner Brothers lot is like really cool. It's like probably one of my favorite places.
The coolest. The freaking coolest. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, there's so much history there too. It's like, you know, we would walk down we'd be walking down like one of the sets, like
So I'm pretty sure that was like really hard to like leave set.
so hard, really hard to leave set, especially after like, you know, we had been there for. It always is. You know, it always is. That's the beautiful thing about uh, theater. The beautiful thing about you know, having a production. It's like you have your crew, your cast, you know, and man, we were such a tight cast. I mean, all the actors, like you know, we're all so close. I mean, I saw Charlie on Wednesday, you know. Um it's it, yeah, we're all best friends, and yeah, it was just such a gift. So hard to go after that too, but
Yeah.
um it's cool. I feel like we've all gotten even closer after the show too, so
I feel
it's really
like
special.
when you're like on a show and you're
the reason why he leaves Carrie, because she's, negative, and she's, kind of in her world, and kind of about the things that she does, and I'm not attracted to those things in life. I try to be as focused on as I can, as on and I get so excited talking to people who are passionate about what they do, and Julie, I can so passionate, and Flynn's passionate, and of course all the ghosts, even though Nick didn't get to talk to them. Those are the people that he wants to be around. He's a music lover, and just like the Phantoms and Julie. So
If you could change one thing about your character, what would that be?
uh nothing. I wish I stole the suit though. The white suit. Should have shoved it in my backpack and just ran. I so should have. I didn't do that.
Run for it.
Wardrobe would have gotten bummed at me for that, but it would have been worth it. So
you could probably find like a duplicate of it somewhere.
I can find a knockoff. It's not the real thing though. I don't know. We'll see. I'll do some digging.
When you film the scene when you're talking to Maddie and Charlie comes up behind you, how was that like pretending that like you couldn't
hard
feel him?
So hard. Because Charlie, this is the thing about Charlie. Charlie is so he's so spontaneous and so in the moment, and he brings so many ideas to set, and I didn't get to do a whole lot of scenes with him, but that was one of them. And yeah, he was so messing with me. Like he was blowing on me and like poking me, like all these things, and I was like, Charlie, you stop. I was trying to keep it composed. I broke so many times during that, but that scene was so fun to film, and yeah, that was a special one for sure. I was happy that I was able to share that with Charlie and Maddie.
Do you think
See the ghosts. Wait, did you say season 1, or like if we had done a season 2?
like just like in general, like if this as if like the script wasn't like Nick can't see the ghost or like Nick can see the ghost, like what would you rather have?
I mean, it would have been fun to be able to have Nick see the ghost, but I think that takes away from the irony of Julie's situation. You know what I mean? I think it takes away from Nick's relationship with Julie, and that whole love triangle. I think him being completely oblivious is perfect.
If you could narrate Julie's love life, which direction would you want it to go? Luke and
I just said something. Neither Julie is her own independent woman. Maybe it should have been Nick and Luke, and Julie would have just. That was a running joke on set. I was telling Kenny about that. I was like, what if just like Nick and Luke just they ended up together, and Julie was like, what about me? You know what I mean? Or something like that. We would always laugh about it, but no, Juke for sure. Yeah. They deserve that. They've gone through a lot together. I've asked him a couple times. There's a lot of ideas that were thrown around that I heard here and there that were really cool. But I was thinking too. I want to talk to Dan and Dave about it, because they'll tell me. I mean, it's like I don't know if I could say it out to the world, but it would be really fun to hear what they had planned, even though we didn't get to go back and do it, or at least that we.
What would you like to have happen after the cliffhanger if you could write what happens next?
I just like almost like what's in like 150,000.
Something like that.
It's something huge. Like,
Yeah.
and we were talking about it, and that's amazing. That is like that is a whole community coming together to support what we created, and for us that means the world to us.
Someone said it's almost at 165K.
Whoa, that's so many.
That's
That's so
insane.
many signatures. That's amazing. Wow.
I saw this thing on my Explore page that was like, if Netflix cancels a show by law, they should like have to release what happens next.
Yeah, that would be. Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Yeah.
You went to Paris for DreamCon.
Mhm.
Um, Being there in Paris, celebrating the show, meeting all these fans, like, was that like a really cool experience for you? And was that your first time in Paris?
Second time in Paris. I have four. That second time in Paris. Um, but this time I was a lot older. I was 9 when I went the first time, and it was like a family trip. So I guess I didn't have the same appreciation for the culture and the food and the sort of the nightlife and the all the things that in the art, all of these uh, and the clothing too. I
Yeah.
came into it with like a lot more of a mature perspective now that I'm older. So that was really positive and really cool. But yeah, that trip was so special. One of the best trips I've ever been on. Seriously, I mean, we had the best company the whole time, which was you know all these cast members of Kenny's, and being able to meet all these amazing people that made huge like I'm blown away by the amount of effort people have made to make it to that. Like that
Yeah.
was, you know, there was a girl I met from San Diego. I was like, you came from I'm from California, dude. You just like let me know. You know what I mean? And it was amazing. That was a really special experience and one I'm gonna cherish forever. Yeah, yeah.
Um, what was your favorite part about being like with the cast of Julie and the Phantoms and all these other
Oh,
people from Kenny's?
there. It's like uh, Kenny has. When Kenny introduces you to somebody, you kind of know you're gonna be friends with them, just because I think groups of people like that kind of attract each other from
Yeah.
just like the overall vibe is kind of the same, and it's excited and it's positive and it's yeah. We all just hit it off. Like Bart is the best. I love Bart. Like, oh my gosh, the coolest guy ever. And I literally met him. I spent 2 days with him in Paris and on he is so cool. And it's just like the family element. And
Yeah.
Mitchell too. I hadn't really spent a whole lot of I hadn't met Mitchell in person actually. I had met him online at another convention of like virtual convention of Kenny's, but
Mhm.
being in person with all these people is like just the most special thing ever. And we all just clicked and had just uh, the best time ever. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
I feel like it's like really important when like people from like different like casts they get along really well because like you know that you're gonna have these like great friends go along with you like through all this stuff.
Totally, it's so exciting. It's really it's exciting too because you meet all these people and you become friends with all these different actors and being able to uh, it's just exciting to hear about what people have going on. What people are, and we're all cheering each other on too at the end. And I was just a little part of it. I tried to use as much as my platform as I could to raise awareness for that, and I was more than happy to. You know, I kind of trip out about it because since the show gave me a huge reach on social
Mm-hmm.
media, and that's something that I never had before joining the Phantoms, and not something I was really focused on, and so instead of posting like a bunch of selfies, I've been trying to when I can help out as much as I can with other people too, because I'm more than happy to share things that are trying to make the world better, and that happy to be able to get involved in that. That was really, I can't believe it's already been like a year
I
almost.
know
It's wild. Yeah, time is, oh, time's flying. It's crazy. Um, yeah, that was a great experience though, for sure.
that that whole like process of not process but like the time that like was spent and devoted to bringing this awareness I think is really cool because a lot of people overlook it because there's not a cure but we're like trying to like help LLS find that cure.
Of course, yeah. Every little bit of help is a step in the right direction,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and if we can all come together, we can help make change for a lot of people. So I think it's really important.
You did IBD Strong back in October of 2021.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about
His mom started that foundation, and that was so cool. I didn't have much involved with I as far as like creating it and stuff. I showed up to one of the events that they put on in October, and it was a fundraiser. It was really cool. And yeah, played some music at that event, and it was just a really positive night, and it brought a lot of different people together, and we raised a lot of money um, for Crohn's and colitis, and which is an amazing. Um, yeah, it was just for a great cause, and it brought a lot of special people together. So, and yeah, it was based with music. There was bands playing and people singing um, and dancing and all that stuff. So uh, it was cool being able to bring in the world of. When I really started listening to rock music, and I got the guitar bug, and
I don't know what happened. Where did Sasha go? That was unexpected. Um, Technical difficulties. I don't know what
I have
happened.
no clue what happened. That was so weird. I was like, wait. Um.
You froze and
Anyways,
then my Wi-Fi cut out, and I think it just kind of.
yeah, I have no clue what happened. But yeah, no, my style inspirations, Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz is like the epitome in my mind of cool. I mean, so cool. Same thing with Hendrix, and all those, the Beatles as well. All that late '60s, early '70s style is amazing. Bell bottoms, and the flowy, like the loose shirts and the vests, and all that really cool stuff. Big dangly jewelry. I think
Yeah.
it's the coolest. And I try to implement as much as that, and it's just because I love it. So yeah.
What age do you think like your style like started to like really form together as to what it is now?
After Julie and the Phantoms, when I was 16, yeah, and that was because I was around all these people, like the whole cast. The reason why I love my castmates is we're so much about lifting each other up. And Kenny had a huge, you know I would show Kenny my bell bottoms, and it was like 15. I think I got my first pair of bell bottoms, and I just started kind of collecting them. And I didn't feel I would always wear them when I'd go play like a little music gig or
Mhm.
just by myself or whatever, and it felt really good and it made me feel good, and it felt like me, and I was lucky enough during the Julie and the Phantoms period, and I still am, to be encouraged by so many people, like Kenny, especially Kenny. Kenny was like, "Keep doing your thing, man. It's awesome. Like, be you, own it, and same thing, with my parents. So I'm really lucky because I have people in my life like that who, encourage me to be kind of take style risks and become comfortable with it. But yeah, it was around like 15 and 16, and then uh, when I turned 17, it was like, yeah, we're 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 in it, and we
That's
love
really
it.
cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun. It's just like clothes are great, and anyone should wear the clothes that they want to, and not worry about anyone else and what they think, and just yeah, wear what makes you feel good.
On my I, in middle school and like start of like high school, the entire consistency of my closet was just band t-shirts.
Yeah, it's great. that's
I
that's
was
those
like,
you know
there's so many different music artists, and I'm like, I need to support them. So then I buy like a band t-shirt for them, and I'm like, this is coming to the point where the only color I wear is black because
yeah,
all the
that's the
band t-shirts
thing.
are always in black.
They're always dark. I remember I went to see Greta Van Fleet for the first time, and it was at Cal Jam. Huge part of my life. It's the way I disconnect, uh, from yeah, everything else, and yeah, growing up surfing, my dad, he was in the surf industry, for forever. He ran a surf shop in my hometown, and yeah, it's just always been, ever since I was a little kid. I have memories from being like, 5 and sitting on the beach and my dad's going surfing, and so of course, naturally, when
You picked it up.
I picked it up, yeah, because my dad did it, and I love it so much. I try to get out in the water as much as I can, and it's just so healthy. Just the ocean in general is just it's just a beautiful thing. It's such a cleanse and such a reset button. It definitely helps, like, it keeps me sane, and I'm really lucky to say that I have that in my life. I recommend, I just recommend anybody going to the beach and jumping in the water and freezing their ass off a little bit. Makes you feel good after. So I did that today. So it's a good thing.
Someone just said that it seems like everything that you started at, it always starts at age 9.
You're not wrong. A lot of stuff started at age 9 for me. 9 was a special year, you guys. I yeah, I think I peaked when I was 9. I think I peaked. So,
What is your favorite song right now that's on repeat?
song right now that's on repeat. It's called. You know what? It's Rebel. You're my phone. I was just looking for my phone, and I was like, wait, it's in front of me. It's called Mother Rebel, and it's by Joyce Wolf. And those guys are awesome. If you guys don't know of Joyce Wolf, go to Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you have. Look up Joyce Wolf or YouTube. These guys rock, and they're really. I met them on Wednesday for the first time, and awesome dudes, like the coolest, and amazing, like so cool, and their music's great. But yeah, Mother Rebel, I've been bumping that, so go check it out.
Um, what would your dream lineup be for a concert?
Oh man, Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters. Um, I'm gonna keep it to like alive, people who are alive, because I mean, like the Stones, Foo Fighters, Rival Sons, Greta Van Fleet, Joyous Wolf, Dirty Honey, Naked Gypsy Queens, Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. Um, uh, who else? There's so many. I can't even think of. I like. Oh my gosh, Foo Fighters though. I want to see Foo Fighters so bad. Dave Grohl's my hero. I love Dave Grohl. That guy. Man, I really. I admire that guy. He's so cool. So cool. I hope I can meet him one day. That's like a life goal. Like, hey, if I can meet Dave Grohl, I think I'm good. You know. Yeah.
Um, a lot of the music that you've listened to, like you post about a lot of music, and I think seeing that, like, it's kind of played into like help changing my music taste. Because like I started listening to Greta Van Fleet like in October,
Yeah.
and they're now my like most listened to artist on
Heck yeah.
in like the past 6 months. And then Dirty Honey, I heard one of their songs in a playlist, and then you posted about it, and I was like, I just started listening to them.
Yeah, yeah, I try to as much as I can. And it's not that I'm like trying to I'm not always just like trying to post stuff. It's because I genuinely want to. And
Yeah.
I'm like very passionate about music, It's like I love rock music, and if I can share that with somebody else, then I think that can make, you know, that could be someone's source of inspiration. You never know. So yeah, I always I try to post the current stuff and whatever I'm listening to, and um yeah.
Music is just a huge part of my life, and it's also huge part of your life.
Yeah, music's great. Music heals, and it unites. And if there's anything that we need right now in the world, it's that. So,
Um, Professor Plum, he
yes.
wins the best award, or the award for the best cat name. How did you come up with his name?
You know what? I didn't actually come. He's actually not originally my cat. He's my neighbor's cat,
Oh,
and he just like he just started living with us. Yeah, I mean, not just started. He's been here for a couple years now. But yeah, he just started hanging out at our house, and he like wouldn't go home, so we just started feeding him, and then he just never left. And yeah, now he's our cat. So, and the owner, like, of the ex-owner of him, um like, gave us him officially. So he's the best. But Professor Plum, when I heard that name, I was like, I love that. Like, that's great. I think it's from Clue, the
yeah,
TV
because I
show
was
Clue.
sitting in math class today, and a table was playing Clue, and they said Professor Plum. I was like,
You're like, wait.
wait.
Yeah.
Real quick, jumping back in the guitar, what is your what is your favorite sounding chord?
Ooh. You know what? Here, I have my guitar right here. My favorite sounding. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it because it's electric, but I love chords that have open strings on them. Like, um, as that like chimey,
Yeah.
um, instead of going like, which is what you hear, and that's a lot of times like what you'll learn when you play the guitar, like to do a full bar chord, but letting it go at the top two strings instead of playing this adds a full new dimension.
Yeah.
So any chord like that, it just adds a little bit of little seasoning to it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so to close this out, we have some questions that people have kept in the question box, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
see. There's 50, there is 50 something questions.
Okay.
We won't
How
go
about?
through
Okay.
all of them. We'll do like the top like four.
Cool.
Um, the first one is, have you ever thought about writing music with Charlie Owen, Madison, or any of the other cast members?
Yeah, Charlie and I actually we've actually written we actually wrote a little song together. I love playing good music with Charlie. Charlie's like and I jam with Charlie a fair amount whenever I can, whenever I'm in LA and I have my guitar, which is a lot. So I I try to see Charlie as much as I can. If he's not on like a trip, that guy travels so much, it's crazy. But yeah, Charlie and I jam. We actually, like last year, we were putting a set together to go maybe play a couple places, or maybe just to go busk. Like we just wanted to go out and sit on a sidewalk and just play music. And the thing I love about Charlie is he is like a firm believer in that. You know, it doesn't have to be. We can just go outside and sit on a beach and play the guitar, and that's what like music is about. So it's really fun that we have a great time. Yeah, but yeah, definitely Charlie trying to have done that. But I heard I'm not 100% been killing it. You see that Tennessee whiskey cover he did?
I
Get
did.
out of here. Tennessee whiskey. So good. Oh my gosh. He killed that. So I think it'd be really fun between the three of us. And I mean, I'd love to make music with anybody from the cast. They're all so talented in their own different ways. It's great.
This isn't like a direct question. I thought it was like a really funny question. But does Lightning McQueen have life insurance or car insurance?
He has car insurance. He's a car. Let's be real, folks. You know. But he is alive though,
That
and he
is
does have a
true.
life. Nah, he's a car, dude. Yeah, he's a car. Yeah, car insurance. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I lost my train of thought. Do you do you ever get annoyed with how much people associate you with Julie and the Phantoms after the show has ended?
Never, 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 never. Because that you have to understand that show changed my life. I have anything associated with Julie and the Phantoms to me. It means the most like positive and excited feeling, and I associate it with the best memories ever. Um, and I love that people ask me about it and that they yeah, I love it. Yeah, I could never be annoyed by anything by Julie and the Phantoms. It's all good when it comes to that.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry that
Thank
this went
you.
super long. I wasn't planning on it to
Oh,
go overtime.
dude, it's Friday night. You know, I don't care. I mean, let's have some fun. Let's talk. You know, it's good. It's really fun doing these things. I really appreciate it, Caitlin.
I'm very glad that you were able to like join me on this because I've been
Totally.
growing this podcast. It's almost been a year since I started this,
Hmm.
and just slowly like going through this is like really cool to talk to people who I look up to. TikTok and on Spotify and check out his music. Stay tuned for future episodes. It was super fun doing this episode 6 with you, Sasha. Thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you guys next time.
Peace and love, you guys. Talk soon.
Bye,
All right,
Sasha.
bye.